In April, crayons left out in the Bengaluru sun melted into liquid. By May, the nighttime temperatures in Delhi stayed above 30 degrees for weeks, stripping the human body of its ability to naturally cool down. Data shows 2024 was the hottest year on record since 1901, but the latest climate models from the European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts indicate that the 2026 summer will push those temperatures significantly higher. The extreme heat of 2024 was a mild preview. The true climatic crisis is on a strict schedule, and it arrives in exactly 2 years. To understand the threat, we have to look at 1877. That summer, a severe anomaly in the ocean triggered a global famine. As crops failed, millions starved to death across China and Brazil, and 2 crore people lost their lives in India alone. Peruvian fishermen named this ocean anomaly El Niño, and the 1877 event is classified as a Super El Niño. Now, America's National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration warns there is a 61% chance of a Super El Niño forming between May and July of 2026, the exact moment India relies on its monsoons. A documented historical mass casualty event is preparing to repeat itself. This map shows how the Pacific Ocean normally functions. Trade winds blow firmly from east to west. They push the warm surface water towards Australia, which pulls deep, nutrient-rich cold water up to the surface near South America. The concentrated warm water near Australia evaporates, creating the rain clouds that feed the Asian monsoons. During an El Niño, those trade winds weaken. The massive pool of warm water stops moving west and drifts back towards the Americas. The rain clouds follow the heat, dumping their rain in the middle of the ocean and leaving Southeast Asia and India dry. A slight drop in wind speed thousands of miles away physically robs the Indian subcontinent of the water it needs to survive. The historical math is straightforward. When a Super El Niño occurs, it temporarily spikes global temperatures by about 1.5 degrees Celsius. In the past, ecosystems absorbed this shock and eventually reset. But modern climate change inserts a permanent 1.4 degree block directly underneath that historical baseline. When the 2026 El Niño hits, it will stack its 1.5 degrees on top of a planet that is already overheating. The combined math yields a 2.9 degree temperature anomaly. Human civilization has never existed in an atmosphere this hot. The first casualty is the economy. A failed monsoon devastates agricultural yields, triggering intense food inflation. In previous Super El Niño years, basic food prices have surged by up to 9%. Then our cities multiply the danger. Concrete absorbs solar radiation all day. At night, it radiates that heat back out. When you combine that with millions of air conditioners pumping hot exhaust into the streets, the nighttime temperatures stay high enough to prevent bodily recovery. India relies on 38 crore informal workers who have no protection from this environment. Yet the government refuses to classify heat waves as a notified disaster. If they did, they would be legally required to pull from the National Disaster Response Fund and pay a 4 lakh rupee compensation for every confirmed heat stroke death. Concrete urban planning and institutional financial denial guarantee that this atmospheric anomaly will be devastating on the ground. Children born in 2026 will grow up without the manageable 30-degree summers that older generations took for granted. Because El Niño is cyclical, it will return every 3 to 7 years, and every time it comes back, it will strike a baseline that is progressively warmer, turning 45 degrees into the standard summer afternoon. We're witnessing the permanent rewriting of our climate reality. Look at the stark divide in this image. Data proves that mature, old-growth trees can drop ground-level temperatures by up to 12 degrees Celsius. Defending an old tree in your neighborhood from being bulldozed is mathematically more effective at cooling your city than planting isolated saplings. We also have to physically disconnect from the problem. But by fiercely defending our local canopy, adapting our energy sources, and protecting the vulnerable people in our communities, we control the final variables of the equation.